I watch my brother Daniel adjust his expensive tie as the judge reads my sentence. 3 years in federal prison for crimes I never committed. My hands shake in the handcuffs while Daniel sits in the gallery with our stepmother Lu Mei. Both of them are crying fake tears. Sophia Chen, you have been found guilty of wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. The judge's voice echoes through the courtroom. The court sentences you to 3 years in federal prison and full restitution of stolen funds. I turn to look at Daniel one last time. He won't meet my eyes. This is the brother I defended, the brother I trusted with everything. The brother who stole my identity and destroyed our family's 5th-generation pharmaceutical empire. My lawyer leans close to my ear. I'm sorry, Miss Chen. The evidence against you was overwhelming. Your brother's testimony was very convincing. Overwhelming evidence. All of it fabricated by Daniel using my name, my social security number, my reputation. He created fake investment portfolios. He approached our family's wealthy clients. He used my credentials to steal millions of dollars. And when the FBI came knocking, every piece of evidence pointed directly to me. The Chen family business is bankrupt, my lawyer whispers. Your inheritance is gone. Everything your father built is destroyed. I close my eyes. Father died of a stroke 3 months ago. He never knew the truth. He died thinking his only daughter was a criminal who betrayed everything the Chen family stood for. The bailiff approaches. Time to go, Miss Chen. As they lead me away, I hear Daniel's voice behind me. I can't believe my beloved sister would do this to our family. I tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen. Beloved sister, the same words he used when he first asked for access to my accounts, when he convinced me to give him my business connections, when he manipulated me into trusting him with everything. 6 months earlier, everything started with a family dinner. Daniel had been living with us for 2 years since his mother Liu Mei married my father. She claimed Daniel was a promising young man who just needed guidance from successful family. Sophia, I have an idea that could help our family business grow, Daniel said over dinner. His eyes sparkled with fake enthusiasm. I've been studying investment strategies. I think I can help Chen Industries expand into new markets. I should have been suspicious. Daniel had no business experience. He dropped out of 3 different colleges, but he was my brother now. Family meant everything to me. I don't know, Daniel, I said carefully. Father has always been conservative with investments. That's exactly the problem, Liu Mei interrupted. Your father is too old-fashioned. Daniel has fresh ideas, modern strategies. Father looked tired. He'd been working 18-hour days trying to keep Chen Industries competitive. Our pharmaceutical company had been in the family for 5 generations. The weight of that legacy pressed down on all of us. What kind of strategies are you thinking about? Father asked Daniel. Daniel's face lit up. Private investment clubs. Exclusive opportunities for our existing clients. We use our reputation to access high-return investments that smaller companies can't touch. It sounded reasonable. Our clients trusted the Chen name. We had relationships built over decades. If Daniel could leverage those relationships responsibly, it might work. I would need access to client lists, Daniel continued, and Sophia would need to vouch for me. People trust her more than they trust me. I felt a warm glow at his words. He respected my position in the company. He wanted to work with me, not against me. We should start small, I said. Test the concept with a few trusted clients. Daniel nodded eagerly. Exactly what I was thinking. Just a few $100,000 to start. Build trust, prove the concept. Liu Mei beamed at her son. Daniel just wants to prove himself worthy of the Chen name. That phrase should have been a warning, but I heard it as family loyalty. I heard it as a brother wanting to belong. Over the next few weeks, Daniel was persistent but patient. He asked for small favors. Access to a client list here. Permission to use my name in an email there. Each request seemed reasonable. Each step seemed logical. My childhood friend Alex Morrison tried to warn me. He lived in the mansion next door. Our families had been friends for generations. Something feels off about Daniel's investment club, Alex said one evening. We were walking through my family's garden like we had since we were children. What do you mean? I asked. My friend Jake works for the SEC. He mentioned some suspicious activity involving investment clubs. High returns, exclusive access, targeting wealthy families. I felt defensive. Daniel isn't running a scam, Alex. He's my brother. I know family is important to you, Sophia. But be careful. Some people use family connections for their own benefit. I stopped walking and turned to face him. Are you saying Daniel is using me? Alex's dark eyes were serious. I'm saying be cautious. Trust but verify. But I didn't verify. I trusted. Family loyalty came first. That's what Father always taught me. That's what destroyed everything. Within 2 months, Daniel's small test had grown into something much larger. He was handling investments worth millions of dollars, all using my name and reputation. Sophia, the returns are incredible, Daniel told me excitedly. Our clients are making 30% annual returns. They're telling their friends about us. I should have asked for documentation. I should have demanded to see the actual investment portfolios, but Daniel always had explanations ready. The investments are complex, he would say. Offshore accounts, cryptocurrency mining, private equity deals. You wouldn't understand the technical details. Lume reinforced his stories. Daniel is so brilliant with numbers. He gets these opportunities from his college connections. College connections. Daniel had dropped out of Princeton after 1 semester, but I believed the lie because I wanted to believe my brother was capable of success. The amounts grew larger. Hundreds of thousands became millions. Daniel started wearing expensive suits. He bought a Bugatti. He moved into a luxury apartment in downtown. Business is booming, he explained. I need to look successful to attract more investors. But red flags kept appearing. Client complaints about delayed returns. Questions about specific investments that Daniel couldn't answer. Phone calls from people claiming they'd never authorized certain transactions. Sophia, someone is questioning the Morrison family investment, Daniel told me one day. They want to speak with you directly. My stomach dropped. Alex Morrison's family had invested with us. I hadn't known Daniel was using their money. What should I tell them? I asked. Just confirm that you authorized the investment strategy, Daniel said smoothly. They trust you. Once they hear from you directly, they'll be satisfied. I made the call. I vouched for Daniel. I confirmed that I had personally approved their investment strategy. It was all lies, but I didn't know that yet. Alex confronted me that evening. Sophia, my family's investment account shows some irregularities, large transfers to accounts we never authorized. I'm sure it's just a clerical error, I said quickly. Daniel is handling the technical details. This isn't a clerical error. These are unauthorized transfers totaling $2 million. $2 million. The number hit me like a physical blow. That's impossible. Daniel said the investments were conservative. Sophia, I think Daniel is running a Ponzi scheme. He's using new investor money to pay returns to old investors. Eventually, it will collapse. I felt angry and defensive. Daniel is my brother. He wouldn't steal from us. He's your stepbrother, Alex corrected. And he's stolen your identity to commit fraud. That's enough, I snapped. I won't listen to you attack my family. Alex's face fell. I'm trying to protect you, Sophia. You're being manipulated. But I couldn't hear him. Family loyalty was everything, even when that family was destroying me. The FBI raid happened at dawn on a Tuesday morning. I woke up to the sound of helicopters and shouting voices. Armed agents surrounded our mansion. Search warrants, seizure orders, evidence collection. Sophia Chen, we need to speak with you immediately, Agent Sarah Kim announced. She was a stern woman in her 40s with intelligent eyes. I sat in our living room in my pajamas while agents searched through everything I owned. Financial records, computer files, business documents. Everything that proved my identity was connected to a massive fraud scheme. Miss Chen, we have evidence that you've been operating an illegal investment scheme, Agent Kim said. Unauthorized transfers, false promises to investors, money laundering through offshore accounts. There must be some mistake, I said weakly. I don't know anything about offshore accounts. Agent Kim placed a folder in front of me. Inside were bank records, email communications, and recorded phone calls, all with my name, all with my voice, all proving my involvement in crimes I never committed. These are your accounts, Miss Chen, your social security number, your digital signature on transfer authorizations. I stared at the documents. Everything looked authentic. Every signature looked like mine. Every transaction appeared to have my authorization. Where is Daniel? I asked desperately. He can explain this. Daniel Chen is being questioned separately, Agent Kim said. He's been very cooperative, very helpful in understanding your role in this scheme. My role. Daniel was painting me as the mastermind while he played the innocent victim. Hours later, they arrested me. As they put me in handcuffs, I saw Daniel standing with Lu Mei near the front gate. He was crying, perfect tears for the cameras that had already arrived. I tried to stop her, Daniel told the reporters. I tried to convince her to return the money, but she wouldn't listen. She said the families deserve to lose their money for being so trusting. Lies. All lies. But the recording equipment had captured everything. Somehow, Daniel had recordings of me saying those exact words. My voice, my tone, completely fabricated but absolutely convincing. Liu Mei put her arm around Daniel's shoulders. Sophia was always jealous of Daniel's success. She couldn't stand that he was better at business than she was. More lies. But the narrative was already set. Rich daughter jealous of poor stepbrother. Established family threatened by newcomer's talent. Greed and pride leading to criminal behavior. Father had his stroke that night. The stress and shame were too much for his 70-year-old heart. He died 3 days later without ever speaking to me again. At the funeral, Daniel gave a beautiful eulogy. He talked about father's legacy. He promised to restore the Chen family honor. He cried genuine tears while I sat in orange prison clothes, guarded by federal marshals. The trial was a formality. The evidence against me was overwhelming. Daniel's testimony was devastating. He described me as controlling, manipulative, and desperate for more money than the family business could provide. I loved my sister, Daniel said on the witness stand, but I couldn't let her destroy more families with her schemes. Alex Morrison tried to help. He brought evidence of Daniel's real activities, bank records showing suspicious patterns, witness statements from people who'd seen Daniel conducting business in my name. But it was too late. The case was already decided. I was the perfect scapegoat. Rich, privileged, entitled, someone the jury could easily blame. 3 years in federal prison. Everything I owned seized to pay restitution. My reputation destroyed. My family name ruined. As they led me to prison, Daniel whispered in my ear one last time. "Thank you for everything, sister. I couldn't have done this without you." Prison changed me. 3 years of concrete walls and metal bars. 3 years of knowing the truth while everyone believed Daniel's lies. 3 years of watching him live freely with the money he stole using my identity. I died alone in my cell on a cold February morning. Heart failure, the medical examiner said. Stress and despair had finally broken my body. I was 32 years old. Then I opened my eyes and realized I was in my childhood bedroom. Sunlight streamed through familiar silk curtains. The scent of jasmine drifted from the garden below. Everything was exactly as it had been 6 months before the FBI raid. I sat up in bed, my heart racing. The date on my phone confirmed my impossible reality. 6 months in the past, the exact day Daniel first asked for access to family accounts. I remembered everything, every lie, every manipulation, every betrayal. But this time, I could see the patterns clearly. Daniel's calculated moves, Liu Mei's coaching, the long-term plan to frame me for their crimes. This time would be different. This time, I wouldn't be the victim. A knock on my door interrupted my thoughts. "Sophia? Father wants to discuss the investment opportunity I mentioned." Daniel's voice, the same eager tone he'd used to destroy my life, but now I heard the false sincerity underneath. "Come in, dear brother," I called. "Let's talk about your opportunities." Daniel entered my room with a bright smile. He looked so young and innocent, so trustworthy. I'd forgotten how good he was at playing the victim. "I've been thinking about our conversation last night," he said, "about helping Chen Industries grow." I studied his face carefully. In my previous life, I'd seen only family loyalty. Now I saw calculation, greed, a predator measuring his prey. "Tell me more about these investment strategies," I said calmly. Daniel's eyes lit up. "Private investment clubs, exclusive opportunities for our existing clients, high returns with minimal risk." The same script, word for word. I wanted to scream at him, wanted to expose him immediately. But that would accomplish nothing. He would simply deny everything and find another approach. Instead, I would let him hang himself with his own rope. "That sounds interesting," I said, "but I'd want to be very careful with our clients' money." "Of course," Daniel said quickly. "We'll start small, just a few $100,000 to test the concept." "And you'd need access to client information?" Only basic contact details. And your endorsement. People trust you, Sophia. They'd invest based on your recommendation. Perfect. He was already laying out the entire scam. This time, I would document everything. I'll think about it, I said. But Daniel? I want to be involved in every step, full transparency. Daniel nodded eagerly. Absolutely. We're family. We should work together. Family? The word that had blinded me before. This time, I knew exactly what kind of family Daniel represented. After he left, I sat alone in my room and planned my revenge. I wouldn't stop Daniel from stealing my identity. Instead, I would let him expose himself completely while I gathered evidence of every crime. This time, when the FBI came calling, they would arrest the right person. Over the next few weeks, I played my role perfectly, the naive sister who trusted her brother completely. But this time, every conversation was recorded. Every document was copied. Every transaction was monitored. I installed hidden cameras in my office, voice recording devices in meeting rooms. I documented everything while appearing to cooperate innocently. Sophia, I need you to sign these authorization forms, Daniel said one morning. He placed a stack of papers in front of me. In my previous life, I'd signed without reading them carefully. This time, I photographed every page before and after signing. I knew these authorizations would later be used to create fake investment accounts in my name. What exactly are these for? I asked, playing ignorant. Standard investment account paperwork, Daniel said smoothly. Just formalities. Lies. These forms would give him legal access to use my identity for financial transactions, but I signed them anyway. Let him think he was succeeding. Alex Morrison remained suspicious. Sophia, you seem different lately, more cautious. We were sitting in the garden where he'd warned me about Daniel months ago. This time, I listened carefully to every word. I'm just being more strategic about family business, I said. Something about Daniel bothers me, Alex continued. I can't prove anything yet, but my instincts say he's dangerous. In my previous life, I'd dismissed Alex's concerns. This time, I appreciated his loyalty. He tried to save me even when I wouldn't listen. What kind of dangerous? I asked. The kind that uses family connections for personal gain, the kind that disappears when consequences arrive. Alex was right, of course, but I couldn't tell him about my rebirth. Instead, I began laying groundwork for the future. Alex, would you do me a favor? I want to set up some legal protections for my personal assets, separate from the family business. Alex looked surprised. That's unusually cautious for you. Maybe I'm learning to think ahead. I met with our family lawyer privately. Under the guise of standard business precautions, I established legal structures that would protect my real assets from Daniel's schemes. Trust funds he couldn't access, corporate shells he didn't know about, evidence depositories he couldn't destroy. Daniel grew more confident every day. He started using my name with clients, making promises I'd never authorized, creating investment opportunities that existed only on paper. Sophia, the Morrison family wants to invest $2 million, Daniel told me excitedly. They trust your judgment completely. The Morrison family, Alex's family, the same investment that had caused our confrontation in my previous life. That's a large amount, I said carefully. Are you sure you can deliver the promised returns? Absolutely, Daniel said. I have connections to exclusive deals, cryptocurrency mining operations, private equity opportunities. More lies. But this time, I had recording equipment capturing every false promise. Lu Mei coached Daniel constantly. Remember, you need Sophia's reputation to attract serious investors. Make her feel important. Make her feel like a partner. I overheard their conversations through the recording devices I'd placed in the guest wing. Every manipulative strategy, every calculated move to use my identity for their benefit. Daniel is doing so well, Liu Mei told Father at dinner. He just needs more resources to really prove himself. Father was tired and stressed. The pharmaceutical business was struggling with new regulations. Daniel's promises of easy money appealed to him. If Sophia trusts Daniel's judgment, then I'll support the investment strategy, Father said. Perfect. Now Father's endorsement was on record too. When this collapsed, Daniel wouldn't be able to claim I acted alone. By month 3, I'd given Daniel exactly what he wanted. Full access to my accounts and credentials, complete trust and cooperation, everything he needed to destroy me completely. But this time, every transaction was monitored, every communication was recorded, every lie was documented with timestamp and location data. Daniel's operation grew bolder. He was stealing millions of dollars using my identity, creating fake investment portfolios, making promises to clients about returns he couldn't deliver. "Sophia, we need to expand faster," Daniel told me. "Demand is incredible. Everyone wants to invest with the Chen family." "How much are we managing now?" I asked innocently. "Almost $20 million, Daniel said proudly, "all based on your reputation and connections." $20 million of other people's money, money that would never be returned because Daniel was spending it on luxury cars and expensive apartments. I met secretly with Agent Sarah Kim, the same FBI agent who would eventually arrest me, but this time I approached her first. "Agent Kim, I have concerns about potential financial crimes involving my family," I said. "We met in a private office downtown. I brought copies of everything, recordings of Daniel's lies, evidence of fabricated investment portfolios, documentation of money laundering through offshore accounts." "This is substantial evidence, Miss Chen," Agent Kim said. "But why are you reporting your own brother?" "Because I believe he's using my identity to commit fraud," I said, "and I want to stop him before more people get hurt." Agent Kim agreed to open an investigation, but she cautioned me about the risks. "If we move too early, he might destroy evidence. We need to catch him in the act." "How long do you need?" I asked. "Give us 3 more months. Let him continue operating while we build our case. Can you do that?" 3 more months of watching Daniel steal money using my name. 3 more months of clients trusting me while being systematically robbed. But I had no choice. Justice required patience. Alex Morrison grew more concerned as the months passed. "Sophia, my family's investment statements don't match what we expected." "What do you mean?" I asked. "Daniel promised 30% annual returns, but our account shows losses. When I ask for explanations, he gives technical answers that don't make sense." In my previous life, this conversation had led to our confrontation. This time, I was prepared. "Alex, I need to tell you something," I said, "but you have to promise to trust me." "Of course." "I think Daniel is running a fraud scheme. I think he's stealing money using my identity, and I think your family's investment is being used to pay fake returns to other clients." Alex stared at me. "You knew this was happening?" "I suspected. Now I'm gathering evidence to stop him." "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "Because I needed proof, and I needed to protect you and your family when this collapses." Alex was quiet for a long moment. "What do you need me to do?" Finally, an ally who believed me, someone who could help when everything fell apart. The Chen family's annual charity gala was scheduled for December. 500 guests from the pharmaceutical industry, financial sector, and high society. The perfect venue for Daniel's public destruction. Daniel had been planning this moment for months. He wanted to announce his incredible success with investment management, show everyone how he'd elevated the Chen family to new heights of prosperity. "Sophia, this gala will establish our reputation permanently," Daniel told me. "After my presentation, we'll have investors lining up to work with us." "What kind of presentation?" I asked. "Numbers, returns, success stories, proof that my investment strategies are revolutionizing how wealthy families manage money." Perfect. Daniel would publicly claim credit for crimes he'd committed using my identity, in front of 500 witnesses, with media coverage and recorded speeches. Agent Kim confirmed the FBI was ready. "We have enough evidence to arrest him tonight. Are you prepared for what happens next?" "I've been prepared for months," I said. The gala was held at the Grand Ballroom downtown. Crystal chandeliers, silk tablecloths, orchestra music, all the elegance befitting the Chen family's reputation. Daniel looked magnificent in his custom tuxedo, confident and charming, working the room like a professional politician. Everyone wanted to meet the young man who'd brought such success to the Chen investment portfolio. "Ladies and gentlemen," Daniel said when he took the stage, "thank you for joining us tonight. I'm honored to share some exciting news about our family's investment achievements." The room fell silent. 500 pairs of eyes focused on Daniel as he began his presentation. "Over the past 6 months, our exclusive investment strategies have generated unprecedented returns for our clients," Daniel continued. 30% annual returns, 0 losses, consistent growth across all portfolios." Lies. Every word. But the audience was impressed. Wealthy families always wanted access to exclusive investment opportunities. Our success is based on 3 principles, Daniel said: trust, expertise, and exclusive access to opportunities that ordinary investors never see. Agent Kim entered the ballroom. She moved quietly along the wall, positioning herself near the stage. Other agents followed, taking strategic positions throughout the room. Daniel was reaching his climax. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce that Chen Family Investments is now managing over $50 million in client assets. $50 million. He was inflating the numbers for maximum impact, creating the illusion of massive success while stealing everything he could grab. We're not just managing money, Daniel continued. We're building generational wealth for families who trust us with their futures. That's when Agent Kim stepped forward. Daniel Chen, you're under arrest for identity theft, wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. The ballroom erupted in shocked whispers. Daniel's face went white. He looked desperately around the room, searching for escape routes that didn't exist. There must be some mistake, Daniel stammered. I haven't done anything wrong. You have the right to remain silent, Agent Kim continued. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Other agents moved through the crowd, arresting Liu Mei. She screamed and protested, claiming innocence while evidence contradicted every word. Sophia! Daniel called out as they put him in handcuffs. Sister, help me! You know I did this for our family. I stood calmly at my table, watching justice finally arrive. I know exactly what you did, Daniel, and now so does everyone else. The media coverage was immediate and extensive. Chen family investment scandal. Brother arrested for identity theft. Pharmaceutical fortune built on fraud. But this time, the headlines told the truth. This time, the real criminal was going to prison. The evidence I'd gathered over 6 months saved everything that mattered. Chen Industries survived because I could prove the legitimate business was separate from Daniel's fraud. Our clients recovered their money because I documented where everything was hidden. The FBI seized Daniel's assets. Luxury cars, expensive apartment, offshore accounts. Everything he'd bought with stolen money was liquidated to pay restitution. Miss Chen, your cooperation has been invaluable, Agent Kim told me. Without your evidence, we never could have built such a comprehensive case. Daniel received 15 years in federal prison. Liu Mei got 10 years plus deportation. Investigators discovered her marriage to father had been fraudulent from the beginning. She'd targeted our family specifically to access our wealth and social connections. Father was devastated but relieved. I suspected something was wrong, he admitted, but I wanted to believe in family unity. It wasn't your fault, I told him. They were professional manipulators. You saved us, Sophia. You saved our family's honor. 6 months later, Chen Industries was stronger than ever. I implemented new security protocols to prevent identity theft, created verification systems for all financial transactions, established oversight committees to review any new investment strategies. The pharmaceutical business thrived. Father's stress levels decreased dramatically. Without Daniel and Liu Mei's constant manipulation, our family found peace. Alex Morrison had supported me through everything. I knew something was different about you after that first conversation. You became more strategic, more careful. I learned to trust my instincts, I said. And you learned to trust the right people. Our relationship deepened naturally. No manipulation, no hidden agendas, just genuine affection built on years of friendship and mutual respect. Sophia, I need to tell you something, Alex said one evening. We were walking through the garden where he'd first warned me about Daniel. What is it? I've loved you since we were children, but I waited until you were ready, until you could see clearly. I looked at his honest face, the same face that had tried to protect me when I couldn't protect myself. I love you too, Alex. I think I always have. Our engagement was announced quietly. No media attention, no social climbing. Just 2 families who'd been friends for generations, finally becoming one family through marriage. Daniel sent letters from prison. Desperate pleas for forgiveness, claims that he'd been manipulated by his mother, promises to make amends if I would just visit him. I never responded. Some betrayals are unforgivable. Some people don't deserve second chances. Liu Mei was deported after serving her sentence. She returned to China with nothing. Her scheme to infiltrate American high society had failed completely. Do you ever feel sorry for them? Alex asked one day. No, I said honestly. They made their choices. They chose greed over family. They chose crime over honesty. Now they're living with the consequences. Father gave his blessing to our marriage. Alex is the son I should have had from the beginning, someone who protects our family instead of exploiting it. 1 year after Daniel's arrest, Alex and I were married in a quiet ceremony. Only close friends and genuine family. No media coverage, no social climbing guests. Just people who loved us and wished us happiness. Mrs. Morrison, Alex said as we danced at our reception, how does it feel to start a new life? Perfect, I said honestly. This is what real family feels like. 6 months after our wedding, I discovered I was pregnant. Alex was overjoyed. Father cried with happiness. Even the business seemed to prosper more now that our family was growing with love instead of manipulation. Daniel continued writing letters from prison, each one more desperate than the last. He learned about my marriage from newspaper coverage, about my pregnancy from mutual acquaintances, about my success in rebuilding Chen Industries. Dear sister, his latest letter began, I know I made mistakes, but I've changed. Prison has taught me the value of real family. Please give me a chance to prove I'm different now. I showed the letter to Alex. What do you think? I think he's still trying to manipulate you, Alex said, even from prison. I threw the letter away without responding. Daniel had used up all his chances in his previous life. In this life, I had no time for people who couldn't be trusted. Our daughter was born on a beautiful spring morning, Elizabeth Chen Morrison, a name that honored both our families while establishing her own identity, something Daniel had never understood. She's perfect, Alex whispered as he held her for the first time. Just like her mother. Father held his granddaughter with tears in his eyes. She'll grow up knowing what real family means. Love, loyalty, protection. Everything Daniel and Lu Mei had never understood. Chen Industries continued to thrive. I'd established new ethical standards that other pharmaceutical companies began copying. Our reputation for integrity attracted the best clients and partners. The industry magazines wrote articles about my remarkable leadership during crisis, how I'd exposed fraud within my own family to protect clients and investors, how I'd chosen justice over personal loyalty. They didn't know the whole truth, of course. They couldn't know about my rebirth or previous life's tragedies, but they understood that I'd made difficult choices for the right reasons. Do you ever regret it? Alex asked one evening. We were watching Elizabeth sleep in her crib, our perfect daughter in our perfect home with our perfect life. Regret what? Letting Daniel destroy himself instead of stopping him earlier. I considered the question carefully. In my previous life, I'd died broken and alone. Daniel had lived freely with stolen money while I rotted in prison for his crimes. In this life, I'd chosen strategic patience over emotional reaction. I'd gathered evidence instead of making accusations. I'd protected the innocent while ensuring the guilty faced consequences. No regrets, I said finally. Justice required patience, and patience gave us everything we have now. Alex kissed my forehead. I'll always protect you and our family. I know, that's what real family does. Daniel sent one final letter after Elizabeth was born. This time, he didn't ask for forgiveness. Instead, he wrote about his jealousy, his resentment, his anger that I'd stolen his chance at a better life. Even in prison, he couldn't accept responsibility for his choices. Even facing 15 years of consequences, he blamed me for his downfall. I burned that letter without reading it to Alex. Some toxicity doesn't deserve acknowledgement. Years passed peacefully. Elizabeth grew into a bright, loving child who would never know the pain of family betrayal. Alex built his own successful business while supporting mine. Father lived to see his granddaughter's first steps, first words, first day of school. Chen Industries became a model for ethical business practices. We established scholarship funds for underprivileged students, created charitable foundations for medical research, used our wealth to strengthen society instead of exploiting it. Daniel was released from prison after serving 12 years. He tried to contact me once through a third party. I declined to meet him. Some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. I heard he'd moved to another state, found work in construction, lived quietly under supervision from parole officers, a small, unremarkable life that fit his true character. Lu Mei died in China 5 years after deportation, alone and forgotten. Her grand scheme to infiltrate American society had ended in complete failure. On quiet evenings, I sometimes thought about my previous life. The naive girl who trusted too easily, who died in prison while her enemies lived in luxury, who'd never experienced real love or true family happiness. That girl's suffering had meaning now. Her death had given me wisdom. Her tragedy had become my triumph. "Mommy, tell me a story," Elizabeth would say at bedtime. "What kind of story?" "A happy one, where the good people win and the bad people lose." I would smile and tuck her in safely. Once upon a time, there was a family that learned the difference between real love and fake love, between people who protect and people who use. And they lived happily ever after. Is that a true story? The truest story I know. Because in the end, that's what mattered. Not revenge for its own sake, not punishment without purpose, but protection of what's precious, justice for those who deserve it, and happiness built on truth instead of lies. I'd been given a second chance at life. I'd used it to save everyone who mattered and stop everyone who didn't. Daniel had chosen his path. Liu Mei had chosen hers. I'd simply made sure their choices led to appropriate consequences. This time, I didn't just survive. I thrived, and the people who truly mattered were safe forever. That was enough. That was everything.